What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. We got an awful lot to talk about on today's show. It is another live edition, guys. If you are in the stream, make sure you do smash that like button. Let's get the live likes going out there. Drop some comments in. I'll be trying to address them as we go throughout this video. But coming up today, we got a lot. The final stadium approval has been granted for the Commanders to move back to the RFK site. That this was essentially a formality, but still there was the opportunity for something to go haywire. We're over the lines. There are no more votes. There are no more concessions. There's no more politicizing. There's nothing. Stadium is done. It will be coming to DC in 2030. We're going to read some notes from Josh Harris speaking about that. Also, we got updates on Marcus Mariota and Jayden Daniels, who is going to be playing this weekend, and why is one ESPN expert so concerned about the long-term health of Jayden Daniels, and what are some of the areas to exploit as the Commanders look to get ready for this matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. Guys, even if you are in the rebroadcast here and you didn't catch the live episode, again, make sure you hit the like button. It helps me out tremendously. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button as well, and leave your comments as always so that I can always get to you whenever I can. Now, why is my name showing up here? Once again, for someone, it's not like I'm old. Maybe I am old. There we go. Got rid of the name. That was bugging me this whole time. Okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's officially get this thing started. So, final stadium approval has been granted for the Commanders. The DC City Council voted yesterday. They confirmed it. This was essentially, again, a formality. The same DC City Council had already voted on the same exact measure. There were no changes. They just had to vote again to confirm it, and it got over the line. I think it was either 10-2 or 11-2 supporting vote. So everything is done. Let's read a note here from Josh Harris, the Commanders' managing partner. He said, quote, "Today is a historic day for DC, the Commanders organization, and our fans. With the council's approval, we can now move forward on the transformative RFK project that will bring lasting economic growth for our city. This achievement wouldn't have been possible without the dedication and collaboration between Mayor Bowser, Chairman Mendelson, the council, and the countless community, business, and labor leaders whose voices and input helped shape the process every step of the way. We are deeply grateful for the warm return to the district and the center of the DMV and look forward to officially bringing back the team to its spiritual home in 2030. I'm young enough so that I never got to go to the RFK site, but I know the tradition that was there once. I know that it looks nothing like that now because, man, they have been really tearing that thing down. There's not much left of it, but I'm excited to go back there. And I'm sure that a lot of fans who are like me maybe never got to go to the official RFK stadium. Even now that we're back at the RFK site, I'm sure the tradition, the history, the pageantry, I'm sure it's going to be palpable. It's going to be tangible. So I'm excited to see what that is like. Now let's talk about Marcus Mariota and Jayden Daniels. So on Wednesdays, the quarterback gives a press conference. I think on Thursdays, you hear from Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt Jr. Dan Quinn speaks pretty much every day except for that Thursday. And on Wednesdays, you get your quarterback. So that means Jayden Daniels, right? Not this week. This week was Marcus Mariota. Now, I didn't want to pull any clips from his press conference because, honestly, I didn't listen to it, and I can imagine what he said. I'm ready to go if they need me. I feel confident. Yeah, I'm good after my Achilles thing this summer. If Jayden's not injured, it's okay. If he's ready, then I'll be on the bench. He'll start. I already knew what he was going to say. What I wanted to talk about specifically is this an indication if Mariota or Daniels is playing this weekend? And all I'm going to say is we know the Commanders love to participate in a bit of gamesmanship, keeping their cards close to their chest. If they send Jayden Daniels up there, they know that's sending a warning out to the Raiders and everyone else, hey, he's playing this weekend. With Mariota, you're forcing the Raiders to at least game plan for Mariota in addition to game planning for Jayden. I still believe he's going to play, and I don't have inside sources. I'm not breaking news here. I can just tell you from the multiple people that I have listened to and that I've read up on the things they're saying, I think Jayden is going to play this weekend, but they're not going to come out and basically say that by putting him up there. So DQ did give us an update on how exactly Jayden's rehab process is going. He said that yesterday, or 2 days ago, rather, he was throwing the ball around. He had a good rehab session. The next update will be coming on Friday. And DQ said, quote, "Good start to the week with the throwing and the moving." Now, just because Jayden appears to be on his track back to the field does not mean that there are not concerns about his long-term health. ESPN's MINA KIMES, who I love, and I feel like most people love, she gets some hate, but she does an amazing job. She was speaking about Jayden Daniels, and she said he needs to take less contact. It's not sustainable. According to her, he leads all quarterbacks in contact this season, which is an interesting metric, QB contact, but it's just the times they've been tackled on scrambles plus QB hits, scrambles and designed runs plus QB hits. Jayden has 29 of those where he's actually been impacted. And that also doesn't count things where like he throws the ball and then edge rushers coming off the edge and they like get their hands on him, but they ease up. So even moments like that, it's just very slight bumps and bruises along the way. You're adding to the wear and tear. And yes, Jayden put on some weight this offseason, but he's still not a very bulky dude. And he also led the league in QB contact last year, which is something that MINA Kimes pointed out. So I bring this up because I know that a lot of us know all too well about what happens when you have a talented, mobile rookie quarterback who takes too many hits. We saw it happen with Robert Griffin III. Now, I think Jayden's a lot smarter. I think he's a much more developed passer. I don't think he relies on his legs as much. And I think the coaching staff is going to do a better job of protecting him. With all of that being said, if you compare Jayden to a Lamar Jackson, when you watch Lamar play, he does an outstanding job of avoiding contact, even though he's running read option, even though he's running QB, maybe not QB power, but like QB trap, maybe when he's scrambling. He does such an incredible job of getting down, getting out of bounds. Jayden doesn't have that same sense of self-preservation. I cannot remember a time where I saw a quarterback, maybe it would have been like their rookie season, but a Lamar Jackson, I can't remember a time where he's taken a hit like the one Jayden took where he actually ended up spraining his knee, where he jumps in the air, gets his feet from taking out under him, and he flips head over end. It's not as if he was diving into the end zone. It was a 1 yard gain or something like that. And I think Jayden is incredibly smart, and he's actually doing a lot better job avoiding contact than he did in college. So I want to applaud him for the improvement, but he does have to save himself, because even though he's good enough to be a pocket passer and doesn't need to run around all the time, his ability to run around greatly impacts how defenses have to defend against him. They have to honor his threat. And if he starts to lose that, then you're going to see defenses shift, and now all of a sudden he's not as big of a threat as he once was. So I agree here. I'm not concerned that Jayden is going to be done, basically not be an NFL caliber quarterback by the end of his second year, which RG3 kind of was, but I am concerned with the amount of hits he's taking, especially at his size. So I agree here. I would love to see Jayden clean it up, and the coaching staff's got to tell him, look, if you can get an 8 yard gain by taking contact, or you can get a 6 yard gain by getting down, just take the 6, get down. Save yourself. He broke his rib last year. He's already got a sprained knee. It's football. Injuries happen, but the best teams keep their quarterbacks healthy. And that's a big part of why the team went out and invested 4 draft picks in a trade for Laramie Tunsil, and why they took Josh Conerly in the first round. So they're trying to support him. It's got to be a two-way straight here. There's got to be some mutualism in there. But speaking of the offensive line, this is a good segue, because I wanted to talk about one of the biggest battles that I'm going to be watching for this game against the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Commanders are currently 4th in run blocking win rate, 5th in stuffed run rate, and 5th in yards before contact per carry. Now, their passing metrics, mediocre, but their run blocking has been pretty outstanding so far. And it's a little bit smaller of a sample size than you get for most other teams, because they really didn't run the ball all that much against the Packers. And even still, Jayden was running a lot against the Packers and against the Giants. But when they have actually set these plays up, they've done a good job. And this does lead into a lot of what Dan Quinn was talking about over the summer with the transition to the gap scheme stuff. I've thrown the stat out there before, but Bill Krosky-Merritt has 14 carries this year. 13 of them were on gap scheme runs. So it does seem that the offensive line is doing a very effective job of using their agility, using their athleticism, moving out in space, and setting up kind of those horizontal runs. So with Jayden being banged up, or him being on the bench and Mariota playing, I would love to see a big day from the running game. Production, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but at least give them the opportunities, give them the volume, give 10 carries to C-Rod, give 10 carries to Bill, give 3 or 4 to McNichols, and just see what happens, because the offensive line, the way they've performed so far, they have shown that when you trust them, they will perform good. They will come good on that. Now, on the flip side, the Raiders' run blocking has been abysmal. They are 31st in stuffed run rate and dead last in run blocking win rate and dead last in yards before contact per carry. Now, this is not the fault of Ashton Jeanty, who I want to say was the 6th pick in the draft after he had one of the 5 best seasons of any running back in the history of college football. Ashton Jeanty leads the NFL in broken tackles. So he is still very dangerous. The problem is the offensive line isn't blocking anybody and teams are getting penetration. This is a big opportunity for the Commanders and specifically for players like Javon Kinlaw and Deron Payne, because we know that run defense was a massive, massive issue for this team last year. And even against the Packers, while the Packers still had things cooking down the field with their passing game, the Commanders did a good job stuffing up the run a little bit. It was a very welcome sign because they were outstanding against the Giants in week 1, and Josh Jacobs only averaged like 3.7 yards per carry in week 2. So this is a favorable matchup. The Raiders have not been able to block anybody. The Commanders have run, I think, 38% cover 1 so far this season. So you're going to have to, it's man, like you're going to be matched up with somebody, but get past them. And whoever's playing that hook in the middle of the field, probably Bobby Wagner, find the gap, read the gap, get through the hole, and take Jeanty down in the backfield. Because, again, he leads the NFL in broken tackles, so he's still dangerous, but you got to get multiple hands on him, get him early. It's like a train. Once a train gets up to full speed, you ever seen the videos of a car that's caught at a red light and they're on the tracks? Train can't stop fully for like a mile when it's coming downfield, but when it's just getting off the lines, that's when you can stop it. So get Jeanty early, get him down in the backfield, hit him so he has to at least slow down before he tries to speed up again, and that's how you stop him. Talking about Ashton Jeanty, though, while he might be impressing from an individual standpoint, even if his numbers don't reflect that, he has been horrific in pass protection. And I bring this up because Geno Smith loves to stand in the pocket and hold the football. He wants to hang in there. He wants to wait for these deep developing passing concepts to come open, find the windows that he can laser it in there. But he's going to hang in that pocket, and he's going to give defenses the opportunity to beat their man to get to him. That's why it's so important you have a very good running back in pass protection. Well, Jeanty has not been that. I was listening to a clip from Nick Saban the other day, and it was funny. He was talking about when he had Derrick Henry at Alabama, and they're going through a pass protection drill, and Henry messed it up, and then messed it up again, and messed it up a third time in the row. And they're saying, damn it, Henry, how can you not? You're the top recruit in the nation. How do you not know this? Get over here. And Derrick Henry jogs over to the sideline, and he walks up to Nick Saban, and he says, Coach, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to figure it out, but I've never done this before. And Nick Saban said, what do you mean? You've never blocked before? And Derrick Henry said, they always just gave me the ball and told me to go score a touchdown. And Saban couldn't help but laugh. And Ashton Jeanty, obviously, he's a little more developed. That was the transition from high school to college for Henry. Now we're talking about college to the NFL for Jeanty. But Jeanty at Boise State was most of their entire offense, and he was outstanding. He ran for like 2,600 yards or something. But it's not like he was being asked to keep up with heavy pass protection duties. So the fact he's messing them up this badly early in the season, and with how aggressive the Commanders defense wants to be, this is the perfect opportunity for them to pin their ears back, get after the quarterback. Joe Witt Jr. always says you have to earn the right to rush the passer by winning the running downs. Well, the Raiders' offensive line has been horrible with run blocking, so pin them in 2nd and 9, pin them in 3rd and 8, and then take advantage of a running back who's weak in pass protection. Send 5, send 6 blitzers, and get after Geno Smith, who's not going to scramble out of the pocket and who wants to hang in there and take those deep shots. Get him on the ground before he can throw them. We got some comments rolling in here. Jayden has improved, but needs to do a better job of protecting himself. Conerly has had some of the toughest matchups to start a career. Yes, Conerly, absolutely. I mean, the rotation of Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau, it was a horrible way to start an NFL career. The Packers with Micah Parsons, it's funny because they didn't even really start Parsons on Conerly. They kind of wore him down, gave him some different looks, and then by the end of the game, it was just Micah. They just kind of beat him into submission. And I'm not singling Conerly out here. I know you did here, but I don't think you are either, because everybody would agree that the whole offensive line did not play well against the Packers. It's easy to point at Conerly because he kind of has the worst numbers of the whole 5, and he is the rookie on the line. But you're absolutely right. It's the toughest possible way to start a career. I still have faith in him. If it was like, Tunsil, no pressures, Biotish, no pressures, Coleman, no pressures, Conerly, 9 pressures, okay, we might have some concern there. But the fact the whole unit was struggling against these terrific defenses, I'm willing to overlook it and allow him some grace, some time to grow. With Max Crosby, that's obviously a great player, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. But he is not surrounded by the same talent that is on the Giants line, that is on the Packers defensive line. So I'm looking for a lot of double team blocks with Allegretti, chips from Ertz or Sinnott or Yankoff, whoever's on the field, keeping your running back in pass protection. I brought this up in past videos, but I think Jeremy McNichols on your passing downs could get more reps than you would expect just because he's the best back they have for pass protection. And you want to allow Conerly to hold up. And also if Jayden's playing, you want to make sure that someone's not getting a quick pressure on him and all of a sudden he has to scramble the pocket. And now he's putting his knee in danger of further injury. Give him help, and he could be an elite tackle. Help in time, and he could be elite tackle. Yeah, 100%. He's got the athletic profile for it. I know that it hasn't quite shown up through these first 2 games, but again, it's such a baptism by fire that it's almost an unfair test. I feel like he was taking a test that he wasn't really prepared to meet. It's kind of the same way I felt with the Commanders' corners in a way, because all throughout the offseason, it was like the corners, man, this secondary, top 10, top 5 unit in the NFL. The offense can get nothing going. And then you come back and you look at it and you say, well, okay, they're playing Debo. They're practicing against Debo Samuel, who's a newcomer in the offense and also isn't a traditional wide receiver. Jalen Lane, who's a 4th-round rookie, and Luke McCaffrey, who is a second-year player but who could barely get on the field. If they had been practicing against Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown every day and the team had the full complement and the defense was still doing what it did throughout the entirety of training camp and the preseason, then I would feel a lot better. But it's like, well, they're not really going against anybody, so I don't know where the expectations should be. With Conerly, it's that, but in the opposite. The bar was set so high just straight out the gate with the level of difficulty of opponent. I want to see him against a team that ranks 18th in pressure rate. I want to see him against a team that ranks 24th in pressure rate. And the whole goal of drafting somebody in the first round is that they become an elite player, obviously. But that doesn't mean they're going to be an elite player from day one, especially when they're facing some of the toughest competition in the NFL. So I agree. I'm not giving up on Conerly yet either. But he does have room to improve. And this would be a good opportunity for him to do it. Now, going back to the Raiders here. So one big note about them and their passing attack is Brock Bowers, best tight end in the NFL, in my opinion. Brock Bowers is injured. He played last week. He played in the opener. He went over 100 yards in the opener. Then on Monday night, he has a big brace on his knee. He's run around. He catches 5 passes for 38 yards, pretty much only doing underneath stuff, which I can appreciate the toughness that goes into this and being available for your team. But his impact in the offense is supposed to be the game changer. I know he's not a receiver, but he's the number 1 receiving option, even with Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker and these other guys, and now Dante Thornton, the rookie from Tennessee. Brock Bowers is the number 1 guy. So if he's limited to that role where he's not really going down the field because he's not separating very well, it's a lot of underneath stuff, that is a huge, huge bonus for the Commanders. Also gives them more license to blitz Geno, like I was talking about. But we saw what the Packers tight ends did when these teams, when the 2 teams played 10 days ago by the time of kickoff. And that's like what? Oh, it's Thursday. Oh, so exactly a week ago. Wow. I mean, I can't even tell what day it is. When the Packers and the Commanders played a week ago, we saw what kind of damage Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave and all the tight ends did to them. If Bowers is limited in this capacity and that vertical seam threat doesn't exist the way it did and that ability to hunt mismatches, also the Raiders just not going to those heavy packages. I know they have Meyer, but they're not as liable to jog out in 12, 13 personnel as the Packers were. Stylistically, this is a fight that the Commanders are just better suited for. Also, with them being this aggressive team, you don't have to worry about keeping up with the eye candy of the constant motions and the orbit motions and 2 running backs in the backfield. You don't know which way the carry is coming from and formation shifts at the line. The Raiders don't do that sort of stuff. Chip Kelly's a very good offensive mind, but through 2 games, it's been a much more stagnant. It's been much more simple RPO sort of based offense. There's none of the intricate movement. And when you are this aggressive defense that wants to play cover 1 man and you want to blitz the quarterback, it's a lot easier for you to do that against this style of opponent. So for all of those reasons, I think this could end up being a very big day for the Commanders defense. Also considering Geno Smith leads the NFL in interceptions right now with 4. This should be a big day for them. It sets up for it. If it's not, short of the Raiders having this phenomenal game plan that was totally unexpected, if the Raiders just do what they have been doing and they score 30 points, they win the game, they convert a 2-minute drive, just those little moments like that, if they're still finding success, then I'm going to probably be concerned about the defense. Got to wait to see how things play out, but that will be a talking point. But for now, I like the way it shapes up, and I am confident going into this week. And even if Jayden's playing, even if he's not at 100%, I would still be confident in the Commanders winning and probably even covering whatever the odds makers have set the line at. This is not gambling advice. Got to say that for YouTube's guidelines, but lines at like 3.5 points. I would take the Commanders to win by at least a touchdown, if not more, with the way things are setting up. Before I get on out of here, one final note on Preston Smith, couple of quotes from him. He said, "I'm ecstatic to be back where it started at, to continue my career in the place where it started. It's a great feeling." Smith was a second-round pick in 2015 out of Mississippi State, spent the first 4 years of his career in Washington. He said, I can bring experience, a guy who knows how to get the quarterback, a guy who can be used in any way, a guy that can be an asset to this defense and to this team. He'll be joining the edge rusher rotation, which shout out to Dorrance Armstrong. I know that's a little random, but I was looking at some metrics on just how individual pass rushers are doing this season. Dorrance Armstrong has been pretty outstanding so far. And again, I've talked about it enough, but Raiders not setting themselves up in good field position because they can't run the ball. Genty struggling in pass protection. Geno's throwing interceptions. Brock Bowers is injured. Geno doesn't want to throw the ball very quickly. He wants to hang in there, look for the deep shot. All of these reasons, I want to see Preston Smith get him on the ground. I want to see Armstrong get him on the ground. Make this be a big day for the defense. Guys, that's going to do it. I'm going to go head on out of here, whether you're in the live audience or not. Oh, one more. We got one more comment here. Big Obi. I was present at the Wilson building again yesterday as a Ward 7 resident, lifelong fan. We got it done. Welcome home, men. Would you believe there were newer DC residents against this? Yeah, I'm so excited. Us Washingtonians won. We got our beloved team back home. 100%, man. So I was at the opener in Landover, and I drove there. I tried out a new strategy, and until the new stadium opens, I'm going to share this with all of you. If you're like me and you live in Northern Virginia, or you just live in Virginia in general, something that worked really well was driving to the Morgan Boulevard Metro station, parking there at the station, and then walking over to the game, because you cut down on the time of actually riding the Metro. You still have to do the walk, but your parking situation is not bad at all. So it ended up only being, I think normally it's if I were to drive to the stadium and try to park and everything, it probably would have taken over an hour for me to do that. Same thing with riding the Metro. It took me like 35 minutes to drive there, park, and then another 12 to 15-minute walk over. So if you're like me and you're going to the games until 2030, I would recommend that. But that being said, it's the Washington Commanders. I live 10 minutes away from Washington, yet it's supposed to take me at least an hour to get to the stadium. No, 100%. I'm not a Washingtonian technically. Again, I'm a Northern Virginia technically, but I consider myself a part of that community because I'm like right there on the cusp. I'm in DC all the time. So the fact that I can just hop on the Metro, take a 10, 15-minute ride, walk out, and I'm at the stadium, it's such a relief. I'm ready to experience the team in a way that I haven't before at any point in my life. So I'm glad that everybody's happy. Hopefully, matter of fact, go to the comment section right now. If you are someone who opposes this stadium relocation, please put it in the comments and let me know. You are one of us, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, make sure you go to the comments and let me know why, because I feel like I'm just struggling to understand what the pushback would be on why you would be opposed to the stadium. So again, please go down there. Let me know what your thoughts are. Guys, I am going to go ahead and head on out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Live audience, rebroadcast, whatever. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.